Hello there, folks. I know this is maybe a little later summer special of the. Hello there, folks. I know this is a little bit later summer version of the vinyl CD update that I usually do during this time, but here it is still. The findings that I have done during this summer. The summer here in 2025 has been extremely hot, like I guess in most other countries. But it has been really amazingly hot. And when it comes to records, I managed to find a little bit more than I have done the two previous summers, which doesn't say a thing actually. But it comes from the same thrift store I usually buy, or vinyl at a record store here. So it's nothing special when it comes to buying moment actually. But there has been a little bit more than I usually that I've bought the previous years. So hooray for that. So I'm going to show what I've been finding during June, July, and now also August so far. So let's get started. We'll start with some 78s actually. Not often I buy 78s. I buy 78s almost only because when I find jazz. But the problem is that I don't find interesting 78s with jazz, at least that I don't have. So I don't buy 78s all that much. But I managed to find 3 78s actually. We have Ian Krupa Sextet, released on Jazz at the Philharmonic. This is Coronation Bop and Paradise. And Teddy Wilson is playing on piano. Charlie Shavers and Willie Smith is playing trumpet and saxophone. So very interesting. Only that it is released on Jazz at the Philharmonic makes it interesting. We have a Swedish 78 actually, with the Swedish jazz legend Arne Domnerus. I mentioned him numerous times. And I don't find 78s with Arne Domnerus orchestra all that much, so that was very interesting. This is Se and Sugar Blues. And we have also a very interesting one. This is Art Shaw and his new music. And Art Shaw actually had this band only for an hour. Art Shaw is Artie Shaw. And Artie Shaw had this band only for a short while and called himself Art Shaw before he got famous actually. New music was a way to make more modern jazz, or it was supposed to actually. When you listen to it, it sounds not that unusual actually. But it is very, very good though. It has very nice flow, very nice orchestra playing, and I like this very, very much. But it's very, very interesting to have Artie Shaw before he actually got famous as Artie Shaw, when he only called himself Art Shaw. And this band was not successful at all. People didn't know what to make of this because they felt like it wasn't danceable enough, and the jazz club owners felt like it was too strange also. So it didn't become all that big hit. So he quit with this project, New Music, and went to form his orchestra and did normal swing and big band, danceable music. So the 378s. Moving to CDs, I can take. We have the Manhattans and a compilation called Kiss and Say Goodbye. Listen, Pickwick. Normally I don't buy on Pickwick, those kind of low budget, but a compilation with Manhattans, I don't feel that that is something that I find all that often. So I felt like, why not? It was for $1 I could actually buy this because it's a great band, it's a great soul band. A triple box set with Billie Holiday, released on Giants of Jazz and Lady Day's Immoral performances. I think that this is 3 albums that are also being sold separately on Giants of Jazz that they put together in a box set. It's not something that I've been putting together specifically for this box set. It is just 3 single albums that I'm putting together for this. But it's still very interesting because it is when it comes to Billie Holiday, I think she's not my favorite jazz singer, but she's a great jazz singer. At least in her most early stage, the 30s and the early 40s, which this actually is, 33 to 42. Then when it comes afterwards and until her death, I have a hard time listening to her voice. But this is early. The first one is with Lester Young. The second CD is with Teddy Wilson and his orchestra. That I suspect that I have many of it because I have a compilation with 5 CDs with Teddy Wilson and his orchestra. And the third one is with Billie Holiday and her orchestra and with orchestras, various orchestras by Benny Goodman, Count Basie, Frankie Newton, Benny Carter, and so on. Teddy Wilson, more Teddy Wilson. But I listened to it, and it actually is very relaxing and very nice CD box set this. And very, very well put together, even though it is 3 regular albums that I put together, then more than just a special made compilation, but it works. I've shown before some of these jazz records where I have put together 2 albums in one CD. I think I showed it once or twice before. Here is another one with Stan Getz and Stan Getz and 2 albums that Verve have put together in one album, in one CD. Cool Velvet and Stan Getz and Strings, an album called Voices. The first one, Cool Velvet, is with a lot of names. We have a woman playing harp here, but it is of course produced by Norman Granz, that is Verve. The other one, Voices, is with Unknown Strings, and it is Unknown Choir. It is very, very Herbie Hancock or Hank Jones. Seems like they have a little bit no knowledge about what they have been recording, actually. So this is very, very interesting. But it's very, very nice to have 2 albums in one CD. We have Wes Montgomery and a compilation also released on Verve, and it's called the Verve Silver Collection, which is a compilation with various stuff from the 1965 and 1966. And on 2 tracks, Jimmy Smith is playing, because there are tracks from their album Jimmy and Wes. Now we're leaving jazz on CD anyway. Tori Amos, Little Earthquakes, which is the album with Crucify from 1992. No, it's not what you think it is. It's Mushrooms. And if you think otherwise, naughty you. Phil Collins, Testify from 2002, I think. Yes, 2002. I'm getting soon complete with Phil Collins. This CD I found about a week ago, along with Wes Montgomery. And I was so happy because this was an album that I've been searching for. I had it on vinyl, but it was in a horrible shape. And I wanted to have it in a real version. And because it contains some of this band's absolute best songs. I'm talking about U2's War. Containing Sunday Bloody Sunday, New Year's Day, Two Hearts Beat as One, three of U2's absolute best songs in my opinion. So I really wanted to have War, and I found it on CD. So I'm very, very happy for this one. 45s I can go to. We have Janet Jackson, When I Think of You, produced by Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, which actually was her first #1 in USA. We have more soul. We have Aretha Franklin, Another Night, from the Who Summing Who album, and Kind of Man at the B-side. Another Night is produced by Norda Michael Walden, and side 2 is produced by Arif Mardin. So it has all the qualities. We have OMD, Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark, with Souvenir. And for those of you who wonder, is this really the right sleeve? It is. It says OMD down there. It is from 1981. It's an early OMD. It's not often I buy a 12-inch. I don't collect 12-inch all that much, as you know. But I can make an exception when it is, especially when it is those kind of stuff that are so hilariously bad it makes you laugh. So I found this. I showed this band once before. A German band that made the song Bad Bad Bank Robbery. A cult classic, only that. This is an even more cult classic. The German band, and I'm going to try now to pronounce this, not that easy. Erste Allgemein Verunsicherung. I think it is. It's shortly known as EAV. And the song title is Kiss die Hand, schöne Frau. Kiss the hand, sweet lady. The story is about a man who winds up in a bar and he starts to flirt with a lady because he has a home with a wife and kids and so on. And when this lady calls him the day after, he is with his wife in bed and he tries to brush it off. I don't know you. Because he don't want a divorce. It was just a one-night stand. Typical try to make a joke out of an ordinary situation, I guess. But what's interesting about this one, other than that is little strange lyrics here and there in the song, is that you take a look at the cover sleeve of this. They made a comic strip out of it. Where this guy is not here portrayed by as a penguin. Yes, a penguin that's trying to hit on a female seal. Why? penguin, and a seal. And look at the seal to really make people clear that this is a female seal. They need to draw boobs on her. Because we wouldn't see that it was a female seal only, but that she is painted pink. They needed to have boobs on her. This is really, really, and here he comes home to his angry penguin wife, who also, of course, have boobs, and they're not so happy kids. So this is a very, very strange cover that makes you wonder why, just why. And we have Diane Warwick, Without Your Love, which is a very nice soul ballad. And at the B-side, we have something called It's Love, which actually is written and produced by none other than Barry Manilow. And it actually doesn't sound as corny as normal Barry Manilow songs. It sounds actually pretty good and funky for a Manilow song. Now we go to Jazz 45s, and we had penguins, more penguins. This time it is something as interesting as Ralph Burns and the Quiet Herd, and from an EP that is ripped out of a album called The Very Warm for Jazz. And Ralph Burns is normally a arranger, a composer. He composed, among others, my maybe favorite jazz song of all time, Early Autumn by Woody Herman. He also has been arranged a whole lot of Woody Herman songs. And he also had a very short period where he led an orchestra of his own. And since Woody Herman's band is called the Fourth Herd and then the Second Herd and so on, Ralph Burns choose to call it the Quiet Herd. And the Quiet Herd is this is a very, very smooth album, very, very low tempo. Maybe they needed to put a little more speed on it, but it is still a very, very nice one. And in this band we have names as Al Coon, coming back to him later, Zoot Sims, Herbie Green, and so on and so on. But it's really nice, even though I might have wished for a little higher tempo. Ada Moore and Jimmy Rushing, and Jimmy Rushing is of course the one who sang with Count Basie, and sometimes sounds more like a fire alarm when he sang, along with Buck Clayton and his orchestra, the 50s recordings. These songs, G Baby, Ain't I Good to You, If I Could Be With You, Only If I Could Be With You, I Got a Feeling I'm Falling, and Between the Devil and Deep Blue Sea. Really, actually really nice. Here we have a very interesting one. This is Louis Belson, a drummer that I mentioned before, and I had to dig to find which musician it was, because this is not a proper sleeve. It doesn't say on the single which musician it is, and it isn't any much familiar. Bob Patterson, Joey Puma, Don Elliott, and Ralph Martin beside Louis Belson, and it's not all that famous names. but it sounds pretty good actually. We have Ella Fitzgerald, Ella on Stage, Mac the Knife. This is a couple of songs from her famous Ella in Berlin concert that I have shown before. That is an amazing, great album. Mac the Knife and Too Damn Hot from that concert. But interesting is that on the B side, they squeezed in Stomping at the Savoy from a concert from Chicago. I don't know why they didn't put the entire, and another one from the Ella in Paris where they had a chance to promote the album, but whatever. I'm not complaining because Stomping at the Savoy, we have a real who's who of jazz with Stan Getz, Coleman Hawkins, Illinois Jacquet, Les Young, Flip Phillips, Sonny Stitt, Roy Eldridge, J.J. Johnson, Oscar Peterson, Herb Ellis, Roy Brown, Joy Jones, and Connie Kay. Amazing setup. We have a big band leader that is actually underrated. I think this is a great band leader. Les Brown and his band of renown. Les Dream. No, they haven't misspelled. It's supposed to be word of play that is called Les Brown. So they called the album Les Dream. Ahaha, ahaha. Drum roll. And Dream, Dawn That Dream, Street of Dreams, and I Dream of You. Every song has the word dream in it. It's a pure ballad album, but it sounds really, really relaxing and sweet and really, really cozy. So, actually recommend it. J.J. Johnson and Kay Winding. I've shown a 45 of these before. That single had one musician on each side, and this one has the same. Boy Next Door and Karaoke with Kay Winding Quartet, and we have Riffet and Bonology with J.J. Johnson Quintet. I have no idea who this actually is. Eddie Burt Quintet. I never heard of him, but it was a 50s recording. So I gave it a chance, actually, and it had some names like Claude Lombardi and so on. That's very interesting. So I gave it a chance. Pretty nice. Charlie Ventura Quintet and Charlie Ventura, great tenor saxophone player, recordings from 1957. Benny Green and Art Farmer. Some really nice recordings here. Also from the 50s. This is a non-jazz that I also forgot actually. This is Kim Wilde and Can't Get Enough of Your Love. Really nice forgotten Kim Wilde single from 1990. Going to the full length. I said we're going to return to Al Coon, and here he comes. Mr. Music, Al Coon and his orchestra. And this is pure bebop, and it is sounding really good. Among others, it is Billy Bauer, which is the guitar player, the main guitar player for my favorite pianist, Leonard Tristano. Leonard Tristano himself is not here, though. But it's very, very interesting, very nice sounding. We have Louis Armstrong released at CBS Jazz Party. Normally, these are compilations that I don't go for. Armstrong Forever Volume 1. But it's recordings from 1929 and 1930. 1928 to 1930. So, and I like Armstrong in his earliest period. So, it's very interesting. Bix by the Beck I mentioned many times before, and this is the Bix by the Beck story. Volume 2, Bix and Tram. And Tram is Frankie Trambauer, one of the musicians that he played most with. This is also early jazz from the 20s, 1927 to 28. This is very interesting. This is Adrian Rollini, a name that I've heard many times before in Swedish radio, but Swedish jazz program, I can say, in Swedish radio. But I never found anything owned by him. This is the Goofus 5, and Goofus is not five persons looking like Mickey Mouse friend Goofy. Goofus is an instrument. And I was going to say the proper name of this instrument, but I keep forgetting it. But I'm writing the total name here of Goofus, the instrument. This is very, very interesting. I think this is one of the most interesting jazz albums I bought in quite some time, actually. It is early recordings from 20s, very early 20s, 24 to 25. And it contains Goofus, but also kazoo, playing kazoo. It's some very unusual jazz instruments, but it sounds very, very nice, very, really, really great stuff here. I really like this album a lot. And this is Edmundo Ros along with French singer Caterina Valente. This is my first. I heard a lot of her, but this is the first time I have something on her on the album. And this is Singen Welterfolge aus Südamerika. We have Stan Getz. And this is Stan Getz presents Jimmy Rolls. This is, as unusual as not a reissue. This is an original one. The recordings are from the 70s, 1977. We have a Duke Ellington, of course. The works of Duke Integral, Volume 8. A whole lot of stuff that I don't have, and stuff from various suites. And there is recordings from early 30s, 32 to 34. So very, very interesting. Now we are leaving jazz. I'm trying to speed it up a bit. Tavares, some soul. Future Bound, an album that was on my wish list actually. It contains Ghost of Love, and More Than a Woman, two of their Tavares' biggest hits. 1978. The Machine and the album Moving On. Haven't they been stealing the logo type on the band a little from Commodores? I get that feeling. But who is The Machine, you might ask? It is a kind of a funk band with little rock, little like Mother Finers that I've been showing sometimes before. But one name sticks out here. It is August Darnell who is here. This album is from 1980. August Darnell is a main member here. And August Darnell, you might know as Kid Creole. So this was Kid Creole before he found his coconuts. Atlanta Rhythm Section from 1976. A rock and roll alternative. We have the well-tempered synthesizer, which of course is a word of play with Johann Sebastian Bach's the full temporary clavier. But this is Walter Korlos, or Wendy, whatever you like to call it, playing Baroque music with electronic synthesizer, Moog synthesizer. Walter Carlos, or Wendy Carlos, was the guy who was playing on the soundtrack of Clockwork Orange. He played the synthesizer tracks there. So that's why I was very interested in finding out how it sounds like without the soundtrack stuff. And it sounds really, really good. This is a very, very interesting album. Of course, it is more relaxing with the original Baroque music, but he managed to do something really exciting with these and atmospheric with these Baroque stuff. So very highly recommended. And now 2 albums that I'm very fascinated by, that I managed to find for such a low price. Of course, they didn't look like mint condition, I'll give them that, but it was very nice finding. First of all, Genesis, and then there was 3. The first album with what we know today being the normal band with Collins, Rutherford and Banks. This is from 1978. I said before that the oldest Genesis album that I have bought was Duke, and I took it a step further because I found it for a low price, and I felt like I give it a chance. And I'm not going to compare it whether that it's better than the 80s stuff, but it was actually a really good album, very, very interesting, and much because Phil Collins is doing it so well, both as musician and singer and everything, composer and so on. So I like this album. It's not better than the 80s stuff, but still it's a really good album that I will keep in my collection. And finally, Deep Purple and Stormbringer. I managed to find for $1.15. As I said, not mind condition, but still very listenable. I'm very, very satisfied with finding this. So not often I managed to find these 2 classics for this kind of low price, actually. So it has been a pretty good summer, though I was hoping for a little more unusual places to buy on and maybe some little bit more. But it's been okay. So sorry for the long video, but now it is over. So let's hope that we get a nice final moment of the summer 2025, what's left of it. So until next time, I hope that every one of you have a really nice time, no matter where you are, no matter what you do. Take care and so long.